Hey, it's Friday, which means it's time to deploy episode 100. Congrats, hooray. And the crowd goes crazy. Joining me today are Matt and Jim. How are you folks?
I'm doing well. Thanks, John. Hey, Jim. How's it going? Episode 100, big milestone. Well done.
Yeah, big milestone. I think we're doing this for 100 now. I'm good. Cold is what I'd say.
I was just going to say. You're all bundled up.
Yeah.
So Jim's down in Melbourne, which, well, I'm surprised you're not bundled up, Matt. You're south of him. So we've got winter going on down here in Australia. And yeah, Jim's down in Melbourne, which tends to get cold at this time of year. And Matt is even further south in Tasmania. I'm surprised well, you probably have heating. That's why.
Yeah, I got the heaters cranked on. The kids are home from school today. Actually, it's a student-free day apparently, so they make sure it's nice and warm when they're home. So yeah, I'm here in a t-shirt, but I wouldn't want to go outside. There's probably still frost on my car window, I reckon. So
yeah,
awesome. All right, well, let's quickly get into the news. Again, episode 100, hooray! We're gonna keep going, so not a big deal. Humble brag. So this is a blog post from Bank entitled V1 Release of the Octopus Deploy Terraform Provider. We had a webinar recently about this where we talked about everything that's new, and the big one here is we actually have support now for deployment processes, and this is thanks to the engineering team who did a great job making this supported. But we're now happy to announce the 1.0 release of this, and I think it's great. I've been working on this for a number of years, actually, I hate to say, months and years on this thing, and so I'm very happy to see 1.0 of this. We are in the midst of getting this over to the registry. So it is currently on the registry, but it's under the labs repo. So we've moved the repo over to our official Octopus Deploy GitHub group or user or whatever it is. And we've migrated that, and so this is our official repository here. We're going to actually also migrate the instance for the registry. So just stay tuned for that. So there you go. Yay! This is a big milestone. So I was very happy about this.
Yeah, been in beta for a long time. That one, great to see it.
Yeah, some might argue alpha.
Yeah.
Yep. All good. So another blog post we have, another integration is switching from HashiCorp IBM to now Datadog. So we are introducing the brand new Octopus Deploy Datadog integration. So what this is basically a agent integration that allows you to track a number of metrics on your Octopus Deploy instances. This will track things like failure rates, deployment times, projects, what machines you have running, etc. So there's lots and lots of goodness here. If you are utilizing Datadog for your observability, this is something that you can use now in conjunction with other things that we have. The example that we cite is Kubernetes Live Object Status. So you can use this in combination with this in Octopus. You can pair this up with runbooks as well and get some full end-to-end traceability and observability and monitoring across all your deployments, which is awesome. So it's sort of a peanut butter and chocolate better together story. And we'll be talking about this a lot at the upcoming event called Dash, which is Datadog's upcoming event in New York, which is occurring right about now. So make sure to check that out up on our blog. Are either you using Datadog or have used Datadog in the past?
I've certainly used it in the past, yeah, and a lot of customers are using it. So this is great to see because Datadog's obviously really good at that application infrastructure environment monitoring, and this tie brings in Octopus Deploy and the insights you'll get from that to bring that cohesive story together and sort of be able to tie and correlate things together, which Datadog's always been really good at doing. So yeah, really cool integration.
Nice. Awesome stuff. Yeah, I'm really happy that this is also available now for folks. This is our State of GitOps report. This is coming very, very soon. You can download a preview of this today, but if you go to our publications site, you'll see this listed there. We also have a webinar coming up for this, which I'll mention in a second. But we've been doing a lot of work in this. We've had over 660 responses from folks telling us about what they do via GitOps rather. And so this is the edition 1 of the State of GitOps report. And so this was written by a number of folks here at Octopus Deploy, as well as CodeFresh. And we're really excited about this. And speaking of the webinar, this is coming up on June 19th. So you'll find this listed up on our webinars page, which is at octopus.com/webinars. There, I'll be having Steve and Dan join me to talk about all the key findings and what they mean to you up on that webinar. So make sure to check that out. June 19th, a recording of that will be available. Speaking of other webinars, we also have the Octopus 101 every month. This is on June 12th. And we also have our 2025.2 release party coming up. So on June 26th, I've got various members of the product management team joining me to talk about all the new, greatest, and latest features in Octopus Deploy 2025.2. I hope you, Matt, and you, Jim, are going to be there.
Yeah.
5 a.m.
Any
our
word
time,
on
so
Guardian on
no stress. Awesome stuff. This is a blog post from Costas posted on June 2nd. Why environments beat clusters for dev experience. So this is for over at the CodeFresh blog at codefresh.io. Great little blog here. Costas is he doesn't write in a very terse manner. He's very methodical about how he goes about explaining things. And so this is a blog post describing the differences between, I guess, those virtual clusters and environments that we have, and why environments in those instances will actually beat out clusters from a development perspective. And talks a little bit about how CloudFresh goes through the issue of through the policy of promotions to different environments. And so talking about the reasoning why you want to have these denoted as environments. And as you can see, Costas just keeps writing and talks a lot about this. So if you want to read more about this, you can check it out up on the CodeFresh blog, which is at codefresh.io.
Coming as an operational infrastructure background sort of person, this one is a really good read because it gives you insight into how developers think and what they're thinking of versus how operations and infrastructure and maybe DevOps folks traditionally think as well. And
Yep.
Just to change your lens when you're talking and thinking about developers and what they actually care about with target environments and things like Git and hashes and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, really great post.
Very nice. Have either of you downloaded or installed OctoAI? I know I have. So if you haven't seen OctoAI, this is our Chrome extension, which is basically our experimentation into AI integration within Octopus itself. And so if you want, you can check this out on the Chrome web store and download it today. And what it will look like is something like this. So you'll see this little halo here that appears. And when you click on that, you'll get this nice dialogue, which allows me to ask various questions, various prompts of my instance here. So I can ask things like, what is an Octopus project if I'm just a first-time user? I can check what space has duplicate project variables, etc. Tell me, for example, I can submit this query here as a prompt, and I get a bunch of answers back, depending upon what I want to do. It will also help me with diagnostic into what may have failed during a deployment, for example. So these and other capabilities are available here for you to use as part of this, and you can ask various questions of this if you so wish. So have either of you had a chance to kick the tires of this?
I haven't. Looks pretty great though.
Yeah. What about you, Matt?
I've given it a go. The team here have done great work with it, and it's really interesting to look peek behind the curtain and see how we're thinking about AI and how AI is actually going to be beneficial to our users. And there's a really great story there to be told, which we're in the middle of starting to tell at the moment. But the OctoAI plugin, certainly as a new Octopus user myself as well, or someone who hadn't touched it for quite some time, it's been helpful just to have there down in the corner, that LLM style. If you know how to feed it the right information that you need, it gives you back some really good contextual information as well. So if you're in a project or if you're on a specific deployment, it knows what you're looking at, and it can contextualize the answer to exactly the screen that you're on as well. So yeah.
Very nice. Yeah, so make sure you check it out. If you have a chance, go and download the Chrome extension, which was available up in the Chrome web store. You can search for OctoAI. And if you need any more information, you can reference our docs, etc. But let us know what you think. We have a channel up on our community Slack where we're taking your feedback. We'd love to hear from you, and give us any feedback that you may have about the extension itself. All right, on to a new segment, which we're introducing here for episode 100, entitled Support on Friday. So this is a new segment where we're trying to answer a question that a customer may have, and we want to answer it inline, just in case some folks have, they may not have heard of our community Slack and may not realize that we're actively answering questions here. So this is a question that came up. It says, "Hi everybody, is it possible to install a tentacle on Windows Server 2022? It seems to me to be up to 2019. Do you confirm, or I am getting something wrong?" And Mark Harrison, who's one of our awesome rock stars here at Octopus Deploy, talks about Tentacle can be installed on 2019, 2022, and 2025, and then goes on to ask what issue they're having. Turns out when they write the following Docker file and they run it via the Docker command line here, you can see that one of the issues that we're getting here is that the container operating system does not match the host operating system. And so basically what this user is trying to do, or customer is trying to do, is create a tentacle running in a Windows container running 2022. And they're trying to use it as a deployment target. So Mark goes on to say that using a tentacle as a deployment target isn't usually recommended. The main reason is that containers go up and down, so they're ephemeral in nature. And so we don't provide a Windows 2022 compatible tentacle image. And then he goes on to say, let me see if I can confirm. There is a Windows tentacle Docker file that you can reference here, which is for our GitHub repository. The most recent version is for 2019. So Mark comes back and then does the classic sort of like reach out to our support team and ask if there are any plans, and this is what gets it on our radar. So if you happen to be curious about running Tentacle in a 2022 Docker image yourself, or you want to go ahead and create one yourself, you can check out this question up on the advice channel on our community Slack. If you want to find out more about this, you can check out our community Slack. All of this is linked via our community Substack or sub-channel, if you will, at octopus.com/community. And there you go. That's our first segment of Support on Friday. So a new segment. We're going to try and do our best to answer questions in line.
Nice.
So there you go, Jim. Episode 100. Matt, I guess you're here for the last 3, but that's, that's fine. So you get the +1, as we say in hockey. But Jim, 100 episodes. Crazy stuff.
Yeah, man. It's been a long road now. It's been great. I was thinking I've probably been working on the same migration project the whole time we've done 100 episodes. So
there you go. Awesome stuff. Well, it's been a great ride so far. We're going to continue the journey as we go forward. And if you have any questions or suggestions, let us know. We'd happy to take any feedback. This was a new segment we added, obviously, for feedback that they wanted to see us answer questions. So there you go. And any final words here before we wrap up this edition of Deployment Friday, Matt or Jim?
I think other than looking at Jim for the last 10 minutes has actually made me feel colder than I was when I started. So I need to go find a jacket. I think that's about it though.
Nice. Well, hopefully wherever you are, you're enjoying the weather. I know it's sunshine and rainbows over in North America /UK, where they're enjoying the summer. Down here in the world's basement, as we like to say, it's very cold. So anyways, on behalf of us to all of you, happy deployments. Here's to, all of you for joining us for 100 episodes, and here's to the next 100. We'll see you on the next one. Take care.